and welcome. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Tonight, Governor Wike accuses the Inspector General of Police of attempting to plant incriminating items in his Abuja residence. The police refutes allegations that Governor Wike says it will act, and it says that it will act within its constitutional mandate. And youths in Delta State attacked the palace of a monarch in Abuja. The state government asked the federal government to implement policies that will permanently put an end to this menace. An activist protest in Washington, D.C. and Seattle as President Trump marks 100 days in office.
And on business news tonight, Central Bank of Nigeria explains measures put in place to ensure the country gets out of recession.
And in sports news, Nigerian striker Victor Anichebe goes down with Sunderland as the Black Cats get relegated from the English Premier League.
We begin in Rivers State, south Nigeria, where the governor, Wike, has raised an alarm over an attempt on his life by the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris. Governor Wike told journalists in Port Harcourt, the state capital, that on Friday, the police boss ordered his men to invade his home in Abuja, supposedly acting on a tip-off. He asked the police to come to his residence in Rivers State to conduct a search instead of his Abuja residence, which he hardly visits.
I still maintain my position that the IG is after my life. Yesterday, the IG had approved that they should go to my house in Abuja to raid my house, and that they will get the court order on Tuesday. First of all, I don't stay in the lodge. I've never stayed in the lodge since I became governor. I live in my private house in Abuja, Sokoro. Now, what they have done in that order they want to get from God, they did not indicate who owns the house or who is living in the house. Obviously, they indicate the court will be wary of searching a governor's house because of the immunity. But in order to beat that, they did not indicate that is the governor of Rivers State house. I'm not afraid, but to say that if you want to search my house, I live in Port Harcourt, I have my house in the village, and I have my house in Nigeria, so you can come and search. I don't live in Abuja, and I cannot keep anything in Abuja. But all attempt is made so that they'll go and plant either AK-47 or plant $1 million that has been found in the governor's house. They can even put wristwatches that are so expensive that can cost up to $10 million. They say, oh, we discovered it from the governor's private residence. And I said, I have to let Nigerians know that this is not the way to go about in democracy. Rather, this is an attempt to truncate democracy. You cannot gag everybody. People must have their opinions on issues. That I have my opinion on a certain issue does not mean that you have to go after the person's life.
Staying with that story, the police has a contrary view to Governor Wike. The false public relations officer, Jimoh Moshood, denies planting any incriminating materials in the governor's home or anyone else's. In an interview with a correspondent in Abuja, Mr. Moshood explains that he's not aware of any plan to raid Governor Wike's residence. He adds that the police will always act within its constitutional mandate of protecting lives and property, including preventing crime. In another development, the Nigerian police force has accused the chairman of Ijumu local government area of Kogi State, Mr. Taufik Issa, and 6 others of attempted assassination. The police accused the men of complicity in the matter of an attempted assassination on Senator Dino Melaye, who represents the Kogi Senatorial District. The force public relations officer, Jimoh Moshood, told a news conference in Abuja that different items, arms and ammunition were recovered from the suspects.
After 10 days of painstaking and sustained surveillance, that's between 16 April 2017 and 25th April 2017, successfully arrested 6 members of the vicious and notorious Aya assassin gang responsible for the attack and the attempted assassination to murder on the life of Senator Dino Melaye, which was carried out on the 15th of April 2017 at his residence in Iyala Ijumo local government area of Kogi State. Taufik Isa is the chairman of Ijumu local government area of Kogi State, and that is the chairman of the local government where Senator Dino Melaye comes from. According to investigation so far, he was discovered to be the mastermind and executed the attempted assassination to murder attempt on Senator Dino Melaye. He was alleged to have directed one Abdul Mumini, aka Iron, now at large, who was said to be his personal assistant.
From Abuja, let's move to Delta State, where angry youths of Abaka Kingdom have invaded the palace of the traditional ruler, destroying property and attacking some communities around the area. While condemning the action, leaders of the kingdom in Ethiopia East local government area say they are not happy with the alleged invasion of their land by herdsmen.
This Abraka community used to be a busy and peaceful one, a beehive of activities on a typical day. It's, however, a different story today. Tension has been on the high after some killings, the latest being the beheading of a man identified as Solomon Ejo by alleged herdsmen. The man is reported to have been killed while he was attempting to rescue his mother from the herdsmen.
This action. Let them come out. They pursue us from our bush. Okay. We know they go. We know they feel they go farm again. When you go farm, if they walk, of course surround you with their gun. They get gun when they take the pursue woman for bush.
So why they came here?
Eyewitness accounts say angry youth in the community took the corpse of the young man and stormed the palace. The youth are of the view that their leaders are not doing enough to protect them. Bullet holes on display here tell the story of the fury unleashed on the palace. This amateur video, obtained by Channels Television, throws more light on the extent of destruction the youth left in their wake. As if the violence perpetrated here was not enough, the youth moved to another community around the area, attacking residents and destroying their properties.
We don't know what they have. They just come and attack us. They fight to us. They scatter our team.
You can see that the protector, it was locked. They pulled it off and also forced the door, the iron door, opened.
We will not do anything. The people, when they do something, then they inside the bush.
The traditional leader is understandably disturbed by the entire affair. He is making a frenzied appeal to those in authority to rid their farmlands of the armed headsmen.
After many months of pressure, the government finally drafted military to clear the forest. We've told the government, our representatives have told the government that we have a Sambisa forest in our bush, that the government should do the needful and clear the place. We also have told government of the sightings of helicopter, and we've told government to do further investigation. That's what we can do as a community. The issue is the political will.
What we know is that our land have been invaded by between 2,000 to 3,000 heavily armed. They've invaded our land, forcefully grabbed our land across the river on our farmland, and they've settled there.
In the meantime, the family of the man who was killed has since fled the community. The family house is locked up with no one inside. They are believed to be afraid of a backlash after the youth attack on the palace of the traditional leader. The police, on its part, is asking for restraint.
the intelligence on this area, intelligence from the police, intelligence from DSS, intelligence from all the relevant agencies. When it's shared, it will help us a lot in this area. And of course, I've already told you that the stakeholders, the people themselves are helping out on this. What we've not done is to say, we call until we have done our investigation before we can come out categorically to say this is this. Otherwise, we'll be apportioning blame to whom it does not belong to.
The State Police Command and the Delta State Government have a lot on their hands. They do not only have the task of restoring peace to the area, but the residents of the community are also asking them to come up with a strategy that effectively reduces killings and communal clashes in the state.
Still on the Delta youth protest, the state government has asked the federal government to implement policies that will permanently put an end to the herdsmen menace. In an interview with Channels Television, the State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Patrick Ukad, described the incident as unfortunate and says the federal government must begin to clamp down on armed herdsmen as promised.
We will continue to engage them, and we feel that first and foremost that is the best way for us to be able to have community defense in order to know what is happening, and when we see strangers coming there, we immediately inform the police. We will not go to the extent to ask our people to begin to defend themselves in whatever way they can. We will not resort to that. We will continue to go through this system of dialogue. Yes, there's a bill on the State Assembly. I am not competent to make comments on that bill, but I want to believe that whatever bill that goes to their house, and if it's passed into law, the executive will have no choice but to sign that bill into law, and the executive will also have opportunity to make their own input in that. These are part of the processes we do, and these are part of the ways we believe we can make peace come. Recently, after the last Executive Council meeting, I heard the National Security Advisor saying they've started clamp down on armed bandits and herdsmen. We want to see that happen in Delta communities. Not too long ago, we had about one in Abuja that they came out and they were shooting sporadically in the air. I think that we need to concretely see what the federal government is doing about clamping them down. I believe strongly that the media should engage the federal government agencies, because this is purely a very national issue. But for us as a state, we will not resort to violence. We will continue to engage these Nigerians who live within our communities.
Staying with security matters, but this time in the north, where the Nigerian Air Force says its fighter jets have destroyed an artillery piece being sneaked into the Sambisa forest by the insurgents. The NAF Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Tokunbo Adesoya, says the artillery piece was concealed under a tree and sighted by a NAF aircraft while on daytime patrol in the Sambisa forest. He adds that about 7 insurgents were observed to be moving from under the tree, and the Air Force spokesman believes that with the successful destruction, attempts by other insurgents to reinforce their capability has been prevented. In part 2, after the break, the federal government insists that Nigeria is gradually coming out of recession. We'll give you details in a moment. Join us again.